Happy noonday, everyone. I'm thinking that my brother will be right back. Sorry for the error. Hope you all are doing well. Tell us where you're watching from in the chat. But if you at work, you might want to not put nothing in the chat because we don't want you to be in trouble just for listening. And you know how the watchers do. So anyway, you are watching the Descendants weekly. Brother C, you want to go ahead and give your greeting?
Hey, sis, peace and blessings. Thank you. I jiggle wires on myself and I'm trying to turn something off. So let me pause that. And
Oh, it's
peace and
okay.
blessings to the family. Shalom, family. Hope all is well and hope the Father's been keeping you like I know He has. And it's exciting times to be alive and on this plane right now because there's a lot going on. You guys are right now fulfilling the stuff that was written about you that they hidden, because there are books written about you specifically that Vatican has, that the fake Jew has, and that the United States has about you. And you're fulfilling what was written when Mashiach was here. All praises to the Father.
All
And when
praises.
you're here now. So those books are hidden. They've been hidden from you. But it's okay because books say, let the Father be true and every man and
Man, a
woman be a
liar.
liar. A
Woo-hoo.
liar. You a liar.
I
Trump,
was
you a
just
liar.
thinking about that yesterday,
Hmm.
Brother C. That scripture, that very line, let Yah be true and every man a liar, was
Yes.
on my mind yesterday. And it ultimately I said, even me, okay?
Yes.
Because every means every in this
Yes.
context. And so I take that as I had to unlearn everything I believed to be what it was and learn from wisdom,
Yes.
learn from the word, learn from the Most High, learn from the knowledge, the understanding that He gives, and even creation, because all of creation testifies about Him. And so, that was a profound thing that you said, not even knowing that I was meditating on that very verse yesterday. And maybe some other people are.
Yes. Yes. And we should be meditating on His word, meditate on His promises that He promised you, book people. He didn't promise those the 1948s that's about to be destroyed, and you about to see it. That's a wonderful, wondrous times that we are in. You are seeing the literal destruction of the 1948s. 2 and 9 and 3 and 9 is getting destroyed right before your very eyes. Say la.
Selah.
And you should be excited about what the Father's doing this hour. The Father done took you out of Christianity, the 50,000 denominations of poison, rat poison, strychnine,
Mm.
C4, gunpowder, bleach,
Arsenic.
arsenic, whatever, Ebola, whatever you
Right.
can wrap up in a gift and give it to you. That's all that everything that the Christianity, the Christian church was, and that stained glass, Charleston Huston, and Christian Bell in them was. I say that to y'all every time. If you see stained glass, bust it out, and the Father will bless you with a reward. Yes, He will, because He know that's not His son, and He know that don't have nothing to do with Him. So we gonna get started. But y'all family, y'all should be excited and encouraged by what's happening. Be excited and keep be on the lookout. But more importantly, stay connected with the Father. Stay free from sin. Stay connected with Him 100%. And
you know,
whatever the desires of your heart, He will provide. Go ahead, sis.
I want to take us beyond excitement, right? I want to take us the excitement is the emotion that definitely you should get, because all glory and praises to the Father.
Yes.
But then that should move you into action. And what
Yes.
does that action look like? You heard me and your brother C and our brother C say this over and over and over again. How are you using your talent, or are you burying it?
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
So once I get excited, that should provoke me to act. Once
Mm.
I can't walk around talking about you will know the truth and the truth will set you free and not know what is the truth setting you free to do, to become.
Mm. Mm. To operate and to become how our book people operated in the past. You see the record of them doing great exploits. And then the challenge is doing the
Mm-hmm.
greater work. Your
Greater
big
work.
brother. Your big brother. I call him that because that's what he is. He's a child of the Father, just like we are the child of the Father. And he say he came back to what? For his kinsman redeemer. But what did he say to you? That's so profound. Most of the people, all of the people on the earth don't even understand when he told you specifically, greater works than these you shall do. He said ye, but I'm saying you shall do. Greater works than these you shall do. He didn't say greater works will the Episcopalians or the Christians do. He said you, his kinsman, because
Yep.
that's who he was talking to. So if he's saying greater works, he said greater works than these. He didn't say who was going to be doing the work. He said you.
You,
So
me.
if he said you, brother
Hmm.
C, Brother Banya, Brother Elisha, Brother Najee, Sister Christina, greater works
Hmm.
than these all of you shall do. Point blank, period. So if he told you greater works than me, you will do greater works than me. That's basically what he said. So what have you brought to the table? Israelites, those that claim to be Israelites, according to what's written, according to the book of Deuteronomy, according to all the prophetic books. The Torah and the Tanakh speak of us, and they speak of him too. So what have you brought him? What fruits have you brought to him as an offering in terms of doing what he put in your heart, put in your mind, put in your body and your spirit to do? Because everything that he gave you, everything that he put in you is for this hour. It's not for tomorrow. It's not for
Absolutely.
next year. It's for today, right now. So I'm gonna get off the soapbox this, and I'm gonna let you lead and guide and direct where we should be going. You want me to pull up number one, or do you want to do some commentary before we go into it?
We can do a little bit of review. Okay,
Okay.
so I just want to do a little bit of review. If you have been tuned in every week, we have been talking about the descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, talking about the UN resolution that is now passed into law, international law, with regards to declaring slavery the gravest crime known to man, known on earth, talking about chattel slavery being that, because we have a lot of people claiming that they were enslaved too. We not talking about them. They can go figure out where their paperwork is. Okay, we're talking about the descendants of chattel slavery. And in fact, we have honed it all the way down because we're here in the United States to the US descendants of chattel slavery. Now that's my dad. Hey dad, shout out to you. Thanks for tuning in. Um and we need to be very clear about our asks. You can find those petitions that we sent to the UN after the resolution was filed as law, um, as descendants of U.S. chattel slavery, to say precisely that we are a group that is unique, that our voices have not been heard, our evidence has not been reviewed, our stance is not formally known to the world. The African Union, led with Ghana, um, you know, um, in the resolution, but they do not represent us. Okay, the Caribbean Union or CARICOM, they do not represent us. They represent the descendants of chattel slavery there. So if you happen to be one of those people, you need to definitely log in to CARICOM's website, tune into what they're doing, and make your claim known from that perspective. But here, us as descendants of U.S. chattel slavery have literally had no representation. And the reason why I say that is because the formal heads of government, the president, the executive cabinet of the United States of America, were voting no. Okay. Them, Argentina, Israel voted no. Right. Now, that no is not just a testimony before a UN body. It's not just a statement. It is their formal legal framing and position. If you understand how over the past few weeks, and if you weren't here, I'll go through it quickly. If you get into a car accident, okay, and I'm going to continue to use this example, and say, for instance, the other person is at fault, there are laws that are established to declare remedies, legal remedies to the harm and the injury and the damage that was caused to either your person or your vehicle. Typically, we go through insurance companies, they, go back and forth with each other, but all of that is governed by laws, right? You have the right to a legal remedy for the other party that injured, harm, or damaged your property to make you whole. So, what we're talking about is not feelings. We're talking about the United States established a system of chattel slavery, codified it, harmed and injured and damaged generations of people, and now the legal remedy needs to exist. Now, we saw that the legal remedy did exist for the $1.76 billion and other groups of people that had claims against the U.S. And so the framework exists within the U.S. under Title 31 of the U.S. Code, Section 1304. You can look it up yourself, just kind of paraphrasing over the weeks we've done this. But yet, the United States has been unwilling and unrelenting when it comes to legal remedies for U.S. descendants of chattel slavery. And what you need to understand is that a legal remedy is due, and it's time to make sure that we pursue legal remedies. Again, it's not about feelings. It's not about imaginations. It's not about hope. The system that they set up, they codified, meaning that they organized, compiled, and maintained and wrote laws into being in the United States. Some of you guys might know what codified means by the example of a constitution and three branches of government, with each branch having its own power. Some of you might understand codified through U.S. Supreme Court decisions that are made and you hear about. You now need to understand, by what we're talking about every week, that codified means you making your legal claim, us having our voices heard before the world, and at the same forum that heard about the reparations, us being able to represent our stance, utilize evidence, and the simple phrase that I use for that is to have our day in court. And so, with that being said, make sure you come back weekly, because we will continue to break this down and help you understand what it is that you need to submit, how you need to engage with the UN, time out for the procrastination and laziness. Okay, I feel led to say this. If you are tuned into this every week and you haven't even went to the website to try to figure out what is the submission that you need to turn in, what is it that you need to do, just going through the materials, then you have to get up, all you sluggard, and get it done. Okay, because in the end, I don't want to hear in the chat, well, nobody told me, or I didn't know what to do. And so usually we end with this submission, but today I feel like we need to begin with it. We've had this show for long enough that you guys should have heard us talk about this submission multiple times. If you want to create your own, go for it. Submit something, because if you don't, then you cannot complain when the whole entire world reconvenes. And I'm talking about world leaders and world powers. You can call it wickedness in high places if you want. I mean, whatever you want to refer to it as. In September, and then again in November, and we have nothing on the table to say you guys are lying and we haven't been able to speak for ourselves. Africa doesn't represent us. The so-called Black civil rights leaders that they invited, Ben Crump and Al Sharpton, they did invite them. If you haven't seen that, go look it up. They weren't there to legally represent our stance. We deserve, just like everyone else, to have our day in court, and we're not going to stop until they recognize us as a legally distinct group of people with a claim that hasn't been heard yet. All right. So that being said, please go and review the website, theboldauthority.com. You'll see it underneath Wise Society, my name right there on the screen. Also, I have received feedback that some of the submissions, and I don't mean to laugh, but it is a little trivial what these systems do. Some of the submissions that were sent in bounced back. And on that bounce back message, it said mailbox was full over at the UN. Okay, so I don't know how many people check emails at the UN, but I want to encourage you to send it again until the mailbox is not full. That's the email address that's on this website, is the formal email address where they receive these types of submissions. So just continue and be diligent. And with that being said, Brother C, do you have anything you would like to add into that?
Yeah, first of all, I want to greet Dr. Christopher. Shalom, Dr. Christopher. Hope you are well. Hope the Father's been keeping you. Secondly, family, we've been a call to action, and we need you to share this website and this information with your family members that are 18 or older. You don't have to be of the Israelite perspective. You could be a Christian. You could be an Episcopalian. You could be MAGA if you want to. It doesn't matter. Not that I have anything against MAGA, because MAGA will receive their just reward. Dr. Christopher, I did want to say that that is one of my favorite verses in the Bible, where the covenant declares that the kingdom of the Father is within you.
Yep.
And so everybody looking around, waiting for something to pop out the sky, when what's going to pop out the sky is already in you anyway. If the kingdom is already in you, then what you waiting for? What you waiting for? Use your gifts and talents to do what the Father has been telling you to do. The sisters don't talk to you about procrastination, which is everybody on the earth's biggest enemy, but more so you Israelites, because you like to wait for Dr. Christopher to do it, or you like to wait for a wise society to do it, because brother, see, he not gonna do it. So it's time out for waiting. So let's.
And I know they not waiting. I know they not waiting for the zigzag man to do it.
Oh, they definitely. You got a lot of evangelicals, white and black, talking about they waiting on the rapture, and the rapture is not gonna come. Cesare Borgia, stained class, the zigzag man, that wicked entity, he ain't saved nobody, and he can't save nobody because he is not Messiah. That Charles Manson looking Peckerwood is not the Messiah. There's no way that he could be. Books say he looked like what? Y'all, yeah. We say this every time. If he had feet that was like grass that burned in the furnace, how the hell he gonna look like Christian Bale?
Hair that
or
was
Charleston
like
Heston?
wool, I don't know. I don't even know, honestly, how they could even make it in hot places like that. I'm not trying to be funny either. I really am not, right?
Hilarious.
Because
Absolutely hilarious.
there's a lot of studies on eumelanin versus pheomelanin, if y'all want to look that up too. And just saying.
Look at this comment before we get started. They're trying to block communications. You have these people
they are
wicked, and and you'll get to. We're going to illustrate exactly how they've been blocking, and it's not astounding, but they have to pull out all their little tricks because they know that his time is up.
Mm-hmm.
The technology not working. The technology that they stole from you is not working. Let alone anything that they can craft and conspire. You know what? The phrase,
and that's actually my daughter. Hey,
okay.
daughter.
Hey, sis, I didn't even know that was her. Hey, sis, how you doing?
So I just saw the picture. I'm like, hey, my daughter's on. So, it's interesting because I be thinking about the Prince of the Power of the Airways. I say the airways because of all the games, the bounce back emails, the titration on the videos, not allowing people to view it. I've had people say that if they don't look my name up every day on Facebook, they don't get my stuff, and they're subscribed to my page or they follow me. Right?
Not surprised.
And it's like I've seen people and not trying to like toot my own horn, but on Facebook, I have over 5,000 followers. And
Mhm.
I've seen people with 10 followers get their stuff on the thread, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And I'm sitting here thinking, why are you guys trying to hide the stuff that you know you can't hide? It's coming out one way or another, whether it comes from me or whether it comes from someone else. The word of the Most High is going to come out. The declarations are going to
That's
come
right.
forward.
That's right. You better say that. You
The
better say that. That's
exposure
the
is
quote.
going to exist.
Yes, sir.
Righteousness, justice, and wisdom will be overpowering these systems,
Mhm.
no matter what they try to do. Okay. So I just want people to be mindful that if you're experiencing that titration, which I also call, some people call censorship, suppression, whatever, hang in there. It's not just you. Keep
That's
telling the truth and keep showing up.
Yep. Because they can't hurt or touch you now. It's your time right now. They can't
Yes.
hurt or do anything to you. Whatever the Father got for you, he got it for you. And if he the book say if he be for you, y'all find that precept. If he be for you, who can be against you? No one. So I'm gonna
Nobody.
go ahead and throw the first one
Go
up.
ahead
You
and
want me
put
to
the
throw the
first
first one
article
up?
up. Y'all know we got receipts. All right. So
Turn this
just
down.
think about when you tune in to the Descendants Weekly, we got the receipts. Now, as you can see right here, Ghana welcomes Pope's apology over the Catholic Church's role in slavery. Now, Ghana is the same entity that led the UN resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity. We said that. Okay. They welcomed the Pope's historic apology as an act of moral courage. They also are hosting international conferences this month on what comes next. But Ghana, isn't the Ghana's Ashanti Kingdom documented? And weren't they enslavers or people that benefited financially from the slave trade?
They the
I
ones
need
that sold. They the ones that
somebody to
sold. They
answer
the
the
ones that
question.
sold. They the ones that sold. So that's like having a fox in the hen house then. Because Ghana owe reparations too to the descendants. If you
And
really want to be crass about it, go ahead.
they were financially compensated. If you're sellers, then what happens? There's something that exchanges hands. You've already been financially compensated as a participant in the same trade that now you're leading the global charge to remedy.
That's why
Somebody
the
make it make
fox in the hen
sense.
house. That's the fox in the hen house. You got the fox, which is Ghana, who trying to make it seem like they was under some oppression or they went through slavery when they was the one that was selling.
Now, I want somebody in the chat to tell me where many of our ancestors, because I say many, and the reason I say that is because there are people that have claims of already being here,
Yes.
and I'm not disputing their claims either. The two
Nope.
can exist at the same time. We got to stop thinking it's either this or that. How about it's all of the above? Remember when you used to take that Scantron test or the test at school and it'd be like, is it A, B, C, or D, or all of the above? It's all of the above. And
Yes.
so the castles that many of our ancestors walked through on their way to the door of no return are where? Somebody tell me in the chat. Where are they located? Where is the door of no return at? Okay. The castles that many of our ancestors walked through on their way to the door of no return stand on Ghanaian soil. So there's a contradiction here. And the contradiction is that Ghana is leading this charge for a remedy for the slavery that they participated in, and when have they financially compensated us or provided us a legal remedy? And they're accepting apologies from the Pope on whose behalf? Somebody tell me how they suffered. They were financially compensated under the Ashanti Kingdom. Okay. So if you see that they're going to change the language, oh, yeah, it was a hub. Yeah. But somebody had to establish that hub. And it sure wasn't the people that were getting sold. So, in their own words, they have already admitted that Ghana was a major hub. Brother C, you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, Ghana need to be ashamed of themselves. And the crazy part about this, and one of the main reasons why we're doing what we're doing, is do not fall for the banana and the tailpipe when it comes to these people standing before you talking about reparations, because all of them are liars and the truth is not in them at all. Ghana is a liar. Ghana is part of Psalms 83. As a matter of fact, let's Psalms 83 mentions the nations.
Mm.
Okay, so let's go back and go back and look at it. I'm reading from Psalms 83. For I'm gonna start with verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. And this is a lifelong commitment, not just yesterday and last week. And a lot of you people talk about these people as your brothers. You talk about your mortal enemies, that sworn enemies against you, according to Psalms 83, and you call them your brother. You're an idiot. Stop doing that. Stop being ignorant. Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes. So it's
Mm.
specifically talking about not all the Ishmaelites. It says the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Jabal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also joined them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Say, La.
Say lie. And so
So
let the
now,
word be true and every man a
and
liar.
every man, if I say something that's not according to the book, and I tell you everything I say should be according to the book. If I say something that's not according to the book, call me a liar and tell me to get the hell off YouTube. Point blank.
Now, brother, see, you see that first paragraph underneath the Pope's picture. And it says Ghana has welcomed Pope Leo's apology for the Catholic Church's historic role in slavery. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this language where they describe it as a powerful act of moral courage and a major contribution to the global search for historical truth, justice, and human dignity. Moral courage, truth, justice, human dignity. They used every one of the words to describe someone else's apology, but whereas and it better be a legal remedy type because that's what they're in pursuit of. So it's something beyond a apology, is more like restitution. That serves as a sorry too. But that type of legal remedy comes with the repair, making someone whole again from the injury, harm, and the damage that you caused. Okay. That statement that they made also announced, again, like I said, that they will host Ghana announced that they will host a high level consultative conference in Accra. Notice the place that it's going to be had from June 17th to 19th under President Mahama. The purpose for the upcoming conference is to discuss next steps following the UN resolution and sustain global engagement on historical justice. So I want to ask you if Ghana and all the nations in the AU are hosting these conferences and working amongst each other's presidents and talking about, the next steps in the resolution, do you feel represented? Is the AU representing you? because they have you legally tucked underneath their framework as the African diaspora. So we got to be careful about what we call ourselves and what we refer to our brothers and sisters as. Do you feel represented with them having a meeting in Accra?
No, because I'm not there, and nobody that sound like me is not there. If you're not talking about, because the president, that Ghana dude, and we brought it out last time, we go bring it out every time we come on. He said he don't want cash payments. Cash payments, fiat is cool. It still works. You can pay me in cash, but I don't want just cash. I want gold and silver. I want the goodly things. I want the gold, the silver, the platinum, palladium, rhodium. I also want land rights. I also want mineral rights. I also want water rights. I want all of that. And I want it on this land and whatever land you're going to give me. But I want it on this land too.
Yeah, it said they carried away my gold, my silver, my goodly treasures, and my people.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what the book say.
And on the resolution, that's now international law, it says financial compensation, yes, but also artifacts. So what kind of artifacts, if you have the door of no return, what kind of artifacts are you talking about? You won't return to where? Because last time I checked, the people that was shipped off as chattel slaves left with nothing. I mean, maybe I watched too much Amistad, but they was naked on the boat. So what artifacts are you asking to be returned? Does it make sense to you? It's like that, like you talk about all the time, but see the Hegelian dialect, right? We just going around in circles, circular reasoning. If you're talking about the fallaciousness of this, a fallacy, the circular reasoning where you go and go and go in circles and get nowhere.
But look who's talking though. Look who's talking though. And I mean, because this makes it blows your mind. So you got the major slaver and the ones who sold the slaves communicating together, conspiring. And you notice this too, sis. Since those submissions have been done, since you've been doing the work that you've been doing, they've been on a fanatic velocity and frequency to which they want to get things done, which is absolutely nothing.
Right.
But they've been going like super crazy. And you know why?
Yeah.
You know why they've been going crazy?
They know their
because
time
of the
is
work.
up.
Because of the work that's being done, 100%.
Because they know their time is up. Now, the Holy See, aka the Pope in the church, right? Didn't they write the decrees and papal bulls? I mean, we're going to have to be on it, y'all, because a lot of these things weren't taught to you, but that's okay. You can catch up. Because these are the same people that codified and financially benefited to date off of our enslavement. Now talking to each other about what are we going to get for their enslavement. We lost our people. Well, last time I checked, and I'm a mom, if my child was taken, I would spend my entire life looking for them. I would search as far as and wide as I could, and I would never give up. And I see it happening in the sense of moms whose children are missing, and every single day, all day, they're posting pictures, asking people, looking for their child. They don't just stop just because the law enforcement say we don't have any leads. They look far and wide and they don't stop. So you mean to tell me these people that are claiming us just stop looking for their children? What kind of sense does that make? Okay.
You know, I used to ask Africans when I would see them here. I would talk to them because I've always been the believe it or not, I'm not an ogre. I've always been pretty friendly when you meet me in person. But I would ask them, "Hey man, how come y'all never reach back to come get us?
Right?
Why y'all leave us over here?" And they would be dumbfounded when I would ask them that, because they know. And they knew back then, I'm a fool asking them that silly ass question.
Right.
Because they knew who they was and they knew who I was. We not the same entities, pal. I'm an African. You a mutt. You a American, an African American, a Negro, a black, a colored, a nigger. You a porch monkey. You a moon cricket. You that.
They
You
got all
not
kind of,
me.
yeah. Mm-hmm. They got, listen, they gonna try to name us legally and
Oh
I say
boy,
illegally, lawlessness, right? Every
man.
single name under the book or out of the book except for who we really are.
Yep.
And that's the point. We're making our declarations. You can go to the next link. But before you go to the next link, I want to also see that paragraph right above the one you have
Yeah,
highlighted. I
yeah,
want
yeah.
people
I'm
to
glad you
see
want to go
that.
into that. I'm
Like,
glad you want
how,
to go into this.
I want you to think about what is the subject matter. Now, y'all learned this in English through elementary school. Okay. You're going to start with your introduction paragraph. You're going to start, every sentence has to be capitalized and ends with a punctuation. We learned this in basic English. If you haven't, you learned it today. And you stay on topic, right? You have your topic paragraph, the body of your essay, and you stay on topic. So, what on earth, you want you to be asking yourselves, does this have to do with the dangers of artificial intelligence? And why is that just in the middle of this article? Now, mind you, when me and Brother C was starting this show, we went to some of the articles that existed prior to now, and they're no longer there. Now, this is still a new issue. I haven't seen so many news platforms take down articles so quick. But this one happens to be up. I wonder if it'll be up next week. Okay. But I want you to see in the middle of what they're talking about, reparations, they insert this paragraph. The apology was published on Monday in the Pope's first major teaching document of his papacy, which also focused on the dangers of artificial intelligence. And then they go on to talk about how Ghana was a major hub of transit. Does that sentence seem like it fit? Right? And so you have to look beyond what the mass media is actually saying to see what they are portraying. See what it is that they're embedding into a whole other thing. If you want to go to the next article, Brother C, we could definitely go to that one.
Okay, I got it up. There we go.
Now, I want you to see how they're talking about this defining shift in reparations discourse, right? And I mentioned already the announcement of the June 17th to 19th. That's happening in a matter of days. And what do we celebrate on June 19th here in the US? Black folks typically, I mean, some may and say some may not, Juneteenth, right? So do you think that any of this is by coincidence? This is the imagery, the symbolism, and the ciphers that the wickedness in high places, world powers, corrupt ones, tried to do things in, hoping we don't see and find it. Okay. Now, Ghana is convening the world to discuss what happens next, but we're not in those conversations.
The
Who
people who was
is
gravely
at the
injured are
table?
not at the table.
Not at the
The people
table.
who were gravely injured, traumas passed down through the child, from the mom and from the dad, passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation, and yet we don't get a seat at the table. Somebody that represents our interest. I'm not talking about Uncle Al the Kitty Pal. I'm not talking about Mushmouth Crump. I'm not talking about none of them wicked, the congressional black talkers. I'm not talking about none of these wicked bastards and none of these wicked ass organizations like the NAACP, like NAN, and like that other one.
Yep.
I'm not talking about them. Those people are not for your turn.
Not for your turn.
I don't give a damn how long you've been knowing them. If you can say that we've been an organization for 50 years and we're in the same predicament, you need to close them goddamn doors. We're in the same predicament that we in.
And you see, they use the words defining the shift. Okay. So we need to understand exactly what Ghana welcomed, because the Pope's apology is more specific than most people realize. And that specificity is what makes Ghana's response to it so revealing. And when most people heard the Pope apologize for slavery and filed it next to every other apology that has come and gone without changing anything at all, apologies aren't changing anything. They're not making people whole. Another acknowledgement, another statement, another headline. This one, though, is different. And what makes the difference? We do. Because we are interjecting that we don't have proper representation. They don't represent us. As a matter of fact, they're a part of the system that enslaved us and financially benefited. And now we have inserted our voices into the narrative, whether they want to ignore it or whatever. We have codified that insertion in a codified system. Oral tradition, that's fine. Go where the people are talking. But what they are doing is creating laws, conferences, more laws. And so we have to be just as, I would say, persistent in making sure that our stuff is codified too. Because that's the entity that we're faced with, a system of codification. You have anything you want to say about this article, Brother C?
Yeah, a couple of things. This actually makes me angry as I look at it, but I'm not gonna jump out the box. I'm
Don't
still
jump
gonna be my same thing. I said, no, I'm looking at this and I'm reading this, and I'm like, the more I read this, the more I get mad because okay, this is like a bridge, and we underneath the bridge. Okay, so you got the person who was selling and the person who was buying, them two talking about historical justice, truth, and reconciliation about the transatlantic slave trade. Meanwhile, underneath the bridge is the people that was hurt, and you're not even addressing them. You're not saying nothing about them. But what makes me angry about this picture though is that I'm looking at this clown's hat, this fish hat that he wear,
that
and it's
cake and
made
pay
out
hat?
of
Oh,
gold. And I want that. I
right.
want that ring because I want to melt that ring down and take
Yeah.
the jewels, whatever jewel. Because I don't want that ring. I want that ring. I want to melt that ring down in the kiln. Yeah, I know about metallurgy. I want to melt it down in the kiln. I want to take the hat because that hat got gold on it. That's not just fabric. That's gold. This demon is wearing. But no, as I read this, and the more that I get involved with this, every FBA, so-called FBA, you can call yourself ADOS. You can call us the term that we done put down. You can call yourself FBA, whatever. If your people was here, because our people was here, and if your people was brought over on these boats, you should be a part of that Ghana. You should be cussing Ghana out right now. Because how the hell the people who was selling you talk about they gonna fix and represent you?
And now they got Accra in it, right? Like they have these convenings. And, you know, when you're looking at the Pope's picture, might as well say that past popes, just so y'all know, have apologized for Christians' involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. But no pope has ever publicly acknowledged, much less apologize for the role that past popes played themselves, in, like I said about the papal bulls and the decrees, in giving European sovereigns explicit authority to subjugate and enslave what they called infidels, right? So you have previous popes who apologized for what Christians did. This particular pope, the difference is this particular pope apologized for what the Vatican did. Now notice the shift. What that shift is that they went from an apology that some of our people did terrible things to saying what the Holy See or the Vatican did. That means our institution, our system, our governance structure created the legal permission slip. So when you hear people willing to say that our entire system did something, then they're already setting up the arguments for who is compensated and who not, and where that compensation will come from.
Okay, so if I look at this sentence right here, there's a sleight of hand in this sentence right here.
Yeah,
most people can see it. It's that middle verse right there. Ongoing international conversations. Ongoing is one sleight of hand. International conversations is the second sleight of hand. Slavery, okay, that's a sleight of hand because you're not talking about the people who were enslaved. But the next one is a powder keg because, and then the last one, but let's address the next one. Colonialism. Colonialism means that anybody that was colonized.
Anybody.
Okay, so then that means that you went from the FBA and them and ADOS and them to anybody who got a claim that they was colonized, which means that this whole people of color BS, y'all almost made me say a word. This whole colonialism BS is about including everybody, which will bog down your ability to get what you want to get, which is reparatory justice. What is reparatory justice?
Right.
What does this mean?
They're defining the framework based on the African Union and CARICOM, the Caribbean community, their frameworks that had already been submitted to the UN prior to the
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. You keep saying it, and I'm gonna point this out. I apologize for interrupting you, sis. Please forgive me. You got AFRICOM, you got CARICOM. Where's FBA-COM? Where's ADOS-COM? Where's DUCES-COM? Where's that COM that represents us? Where is it? How the hell you gonna have the Caribbean represented? You got Africa represented. Where's our representation at?
I mean, well, they're saying that we're part of the African diaspora.
We're not part of that. None of that. I'm not part of them people. I need my own lane. I need my own representation.
Exactly.
Don't tell me I'm a part of that. I'm not part of them people over there. Because go ahead.
When you see slavery, right? Again, I started with this. There's a lot of people making claims that they were enslaved too. We're talking about a specific type of slavery, chattel slavery. So you see these international conversations about slavery. Now let's rewind. Let's rewind for the people that don't know. I talked about this before. About a month or so ago, there was the annual convening for the in defense of democracy people. And what was that all about? Reparatory frameworks. And what did we see happen? We saw that the Mexican president and Europe made up. We're going to squash our colonial past. Let's be friends. What are they shifting towards? So, yeah, brother, see, you're right about the sleight of hand. And we have to be very bold when we say they're liars. You're not talking about us. Even in your submission, you can say that this is fraud and a lie. They're not talking about us. These international conversations don't include us. They're saying slavery, which is a general term. It doesn't mean chattel slavery, which is very specific. You're talking in generalities about colonizers and colonialism. Then you're talking from a repertory framework that we weren't at the table to draft. So how is this going to pan out? You guys can see the writing is on the wall. They can see by our discussions and submissions, the writing's on the wall. Okay. They have been lacking and wanting because they're not in the truth. So the writing is actually on the wall for them. And we're exposing that writing is on the wall, and we see right through the lies and the deception. They're talking about, look, the statement stressed that the effects of slavery continue to shape societies across the world centuries later. Yeah, we know, especially here in the United States of America. And the U.S.A. Corporation. We understand. But that doesn't speak to what exactly took place. And so, you see the next one. For 5 centuries, this is what I'm talking about, tucking you into the claim. I'm talking to all of you listening who know that you're descendants of U.S. chattel slavery. For centuries, millions of Africans and, you'll see this, people of African descent. That's where they're claiming you at.
Yeah, they don't. And that's a sleight of hand that this right here will get past most people. Most of us people that are here, because you're not included in that because they don't even consider you that. Quiet is kept. Y'all see the diaspora wars that's on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and MySpace and them. These people don't F with you like that. So when they see you this here. You're people of African descent. which everybody ain't of African descent, because all the people that was here that went under chattel slavery was a lot of the people was already here. And
Now, brother
Christ has
C,
kept those people or the book people too. Anyway, go ahead, sis.
brother C, what tell the people the name of this website so they can understand.
Okay, so this is from www.fishfmonline.com.
And where do you think it's located?
It says Fish FM 88.5.
If you
So
go
I
down,
would guess that this, I'm gonna guess and say that this is in Akibu land somewhere.
yeah, you go
Be my
all the way
guess.
down. I'm sure you'll be able to see
Be my guess. FM Online is a who?
Ghana's
Is a
leading.
Ghana's leading news website.
So they telling you.
Oh God! To me, this is just another propaganda mill.
Listen, I'm bringing y'all the receipts so you know what they're saying about chattel slavery, reparations, slavery in general. We don't stick with one term, right? When you see things in law, you typically see the terms and definitions are the ones that are stuck with. They don't change them or make them interchangeable unless they specify that they'll be interchangeable or become acronyms or abbreviations. So why above it again? We're looking beyond what the media is putting and looking at what is actually being said. Why do you have a general term about slavery, a general term about justice, and a general term about colonialism? And now you have a whole sentence about chattel slavery and African descent, people of African descent. Okay. So I do have the question, how were the Africans harmed by chattel slavery?
When
If
they
they
was the
were
one selling.
they were financially compensated. When you
Yeah.
sell, you have a buyer, you're financially compensated. And that is probably why the US is saying we don't owe a dime. We already paid. Hey, we already paid for that ticket, buddy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
And that's exactly why we have to differentiate what it is that we're saying about ourselves as a distinct group that hasn't been heard. And also, what we're talking about is a legal remedy to codified harm, to a crime. Typically, when someone commits a crime, they're brought up on charges, are they not?
Depends on if you're Israelite or not.
Right. So,
I'm sorry. I
you
gotta be. I
know,
gotta be clear. If you're Israelite, they gonna say, "Oh yeah, he's guilty. Let's bring him over on crime." If you're a heathen, then they gonna say, "Oh, we need to investigate it. We need to do a study about it." Which to me, this is just a bunch of gibberish to do another study, which means that, oh, we're not gonna pay you anything, because I keep seeing that
don't
they're
people get paid
saying,
for studies though?
well, I'm not getting paid.
Oh, okay. So we didn't get paid for the study, but
Yeah,
we're
no, I
being
mean, I'm not making money. I mean, Ghana gonna make money, but the thing that I keep is frustrating. This kind of stuff will make you mad, make you go mad. Reconciliation and a more just future, huh?
they're asking for more programs,
Huh?
infrastructure. You know what?
Well, I don't want that. Give me the land and let me figure it out. I can figure that out myself. Matter of fact, you could go on Google right now to figure out how to build something. You can go to Google right now to grade it first, how you do the grading on it first, and then how you build it. Okay.
Well,
All I need is the material.
you know, the Pope is also calling for something with regards to AI. So, you know, just saying people need to pay
Okay.
attention to that too.
Well, that right there went. Hopefully, it didn't go over the family's heads, because I want to move to this next article. That is an article that is and was not. But you guys need to pay attention. If you read this and break this down, I don't see you in there at all, because you can't lump these people who are distinct people who went through the worst moment in the known history of the earth, and that's according to the book too, because the book say, the father say, what was done to Israel won't be done to anyone else in the history of man. And I know I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
You can go to the article that starts with, because I'm showing you this article from Ghana, the leading Ghanaian news, and I want you to go to the one that starts with www.ncr online.
Okay, you don't want me to go to ABC one was third.
No, I want you to go straight to this one, and we might have to pick this up next week too, if we like. But you can go to the one that says NCR because I want to show this back to back. Like this came from the actual people in Ghana reporting on this issue.
Okay, let
Right?
me give me a second to find it.
It's okay. Let me see what number it is.
Uh,
No, I'm sorry about that. I just thought about it. Let me show this as a comparison,
is it
right?
number four?
Yes.
Number four. Okay, you didn't want to show number three,
Um,
just for
if we have
context.
time,
Okay, we can go back and do that then.
yeah,
You know why I want to show three, right?
yeah.
You
Go ahead
got
and
it.
show number three.
No, no,
We
I'm
got
not going to show it now because you didn't call it, but we'll get back to it. I'm going to
yeah,
put number four up right now. Give me a second.
right, and we'll come back to number three.
Okay,
Okay,
great. Here's number
so
four.
I would tell the people where this is being reported from.
This is www.ncronlin.org, National Catholic Reporter. We scroll down to the bottom. It'll typically tell you who it is.
You
NCR.
gotta you gotta zoom in a little bit
Okay, let me get that.
because you guys they want you to practice this. Go all the way down when you're reading an article and find out the source location. Okay. It'll help you and you'll see once you practice that. So this is actually the National Catholic Reporter is reporting out of Kansas City, Missouri. And that's here in the US, but the US has rejected any legal claims about them having to remedy slavery through compensation, right? This is an older article, but I want you to see this is coming from the church. You see this picture right here, an image of Saint Josephine Bakita, a former Sudanese slave who became a nun. Okay, they can make up whatever narrative they want. Now, go up a little bit. It should. Do you see where it says there you go. In 1452, that's what I wanted to show the people. In 1452, Pope Nicholas issued the papal bull Dum Diversas, which gave the Portuguese king and his successors the right to invade, conquer, fight, and subjugate and take all possessions, including land of the Saracens and pagans and other infidels and enemies of the name of Christ anywhere. The bull also gave the Portuguese permission to reduce their persons to perpetual slavery. Perpetual meaning it was never supposed to end.
So let me
Now,
get this straight. Let me get this straight. Let me hold on before you go further. So
mhm.
this papal bull was Pope Nicholas talking to two men talking, like Trump and Pete Hegseth. Pope Nicholas V is talking to the Portuguese king, and them two saying that you can go invade the whole earth and conquer these people. Because I'm telling you to, because we white and we say so. Is that what I
I mean, I mean, my point is they codified it in something called the Dum Diversas, right?
but Dumb Diversers didn't have nothing to do with what was going on in Africa. Didn't have nothing to do with what was going on in the fourth part.
Ain't this before so-called Christopher Columbus? You know what?
It
Listen.
didn't have any high, but how that? But see, this is how ridiculous it sounds because this same thing is playing out right now. How
Mhm.
is the U.S. and Israel going to tell Iran what they can and cannot do? How is Pope Nicholas and Portugal going to say, okay, you could go invade the savages and go invade these other lands? These not your lands. What the are you doing? You don't have no right to just be coming up, knocking on somebody's door. You didn't knock on their door. You kick their door down and then just take all their shit.
I only know one entity described as steal, kill,
Kill,
destroy.
steal, and destroy. That's their daddy. That's their father.
The Father,
Yes, that's their father, and they know it. You see,
right?
this is no. I see when I was reading, I said, well, this ain't no different than what they doing today. How you could just go and talk about, okay, Venezuela, that oil's ours. It's ours now, and now it's yours. Just because you're gonna have two or three peckerwoods gonna conspire and said it is so, and then it's so. Not even considering the people of the land.
I mean, and here you have like this broad and sweeping brush of the Saracens, the pagans, the infidels, and enemies of the name of Christ. Well, I mean, like, specify who that is.
The zigzag man, the hippie heroin addict. You talking about in the name of a heroin addict?
Brother C, I think he went to the methadone clinic.
That street here, the Greek clothing. He ain't even got no Israelite clothing. And then they been believing that all that. Well, we was sitting up there believing it because I got uncle that had a church. A few uncles of mine had churches,
you
but
you know
and they got that stained glass sitting up there with that wicked entity looking like Christian Bale, or looking like Charles Manson.
what wasn't it Da Vinci that painted him? Was it, I thought that Da Vinci that was Da Vinci's boyfriend.
Boyfriend, it was. It was. Now my
Caesar
computer's just.
Borgia. Caesar Borgia. Okay. So I mean,
Ooh,
really, we can talk about that in methadone clinics anytime.
wicked entity. He never could or even thought he could save anybody, let alone
But
himself.
this dumb diverse us. And so what we need to really understand, and here's the proof. If anyone asks you, is before Columbus's so-called financing of his journey, right? We'll just call it that. And it was even before the Ashanti Kingdom had established its own dominance over the Gold Coast. So you see how it doesn't make sense. How is the Pope apologizing on behalf of the structure of the Catholic Church, the Holy See, the governance seat, power seat, and hugging the Ghana? Basically, the Catholic Church is in cahoots with Ghana, and they have a specific thing that they have done, a role that they have played, that they have not even um, given a legal remedy for the harm, injury, and damage caused. It's a contradiction. Now, that's one of those, if you had a test, the true false statement. It ain't going to be one of those all of the above, right? So I just want to just point that out. The Vatican issued a written official papal document giving Portugal, and you think, well, how can they credibly do that? It wasn't theirs to give. The legal authority to conquer, subjugate, and enslave. Dom diversus means until differently stated or until different. So that's a legal terminology. Dom diversus, until different. It authorized Portuguese kings and his successors. The authorization had no expiration date. I want y'all to think about what was in their mind as these things were being written into code and law on paper. No expiration date. Okay. To take land, possessions, and bodies. And they want to categorize them as pagans and infidels. Now they call you something else, right? Like if we categorize these people as 3/5 of a man, or whatever we want to call them, what they gonna do about it? And that's why Africa is calling you people of African descent. That's like saying the people of color. Show me exactly how you proved that lineage, because I would like to know. We weren't a part of the conversations, though. That's the point.
Where do you find the people of color on a map?
When have I seen the people of color pull up for black folks?
Well, okay, that's a whole nother show, but they jumping out the window now that we ain't coming to their rescue. We ain't playing Captain Save them no more. And so everybody's jumping out the way. Anytime we say we gonna do something, and if it ain't lining up with the foolery of the Republican and Democrat paradigm, where we ain't towing their line, they jump out the window. For instance, we're not gonna go here, but for instance, the whole blacks boycotting Asian stores.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's jumping out the window. You got Asians jumping out the window. You even got Hispanics jumping out the window, talking about, well, that's racism, this, that, and the third. Well, why don't everybody just mind the business that pays them? You know why they don't though? You know why? Because everybody has always seen you, and y'all could go on every show that I ever always call y'all liquid money. Because every time they see you, they're gonna try to get every nickel that's in your pocket. And you got a 1.8 trillion spending power. Now, if anybody in the snakes can flex, it's y'all. You may think
Exactly.
that we destitute and poor, but if you got 1.8 trillion power, 1.8 trillion GDP worth of spending power liquid, okay? We're not talking about credit cards. I'm talking about liquid that's in your pocket. $1.8 trillion GDP. That's what FBA, ADOS, Duxas has in their pocket right now. So if you got that kind of spending power and you say, hey, I'm not going to do nothing, everybody going to jump out the window. Why is they going to jump out the window? Because that's a flex. We could figure out 1.8 trillion. Where does that put you in the table of nations as far as GDP and money in your pocket? Where does that line you up at? You're a nation within a nation, which some of us realize that, but by and large, you don't realize that. You got a 1.8 trillion dollar GDP. You say, "Hey, I'm gonna take that off I'm taking that off the chessboard." Yeah, they gonna jump out the window. I'm sorry I had the digression, but I'm just using
No,
illustrating
I
that as
want
an
you to
example.
see something, right?
Mhm.
And I want people to understand. Look where it says Spanish kings received the rights for the Americas. Okay, like who
From
gave
who
them
though?
the authority? Thank
From
you.
who? Who they
Um,
receive that from?
but I want you to look underneath there, and I need you guys to start also paying attention to dates. Okay, in 2023. The Vatican formally repudiated the doctrine of discovery, but it never formally rescinded, abrogated, or rejected the bulls themselves. It's kind of like when I was talking about partis sequitur ventrum codified in the Virginia colonial territory, um, basically saying that the status or condition of the child follows the mother's status or condition, never formally rescinded or abrogated. They just assume that, you know, because slavery ended, the abolition of slavery, that the abrogation or rescission of partis sequitur ventrum, literally translated to that which follows the belly, applies. No, the same way you codified it, we need it in writing. Okay. Now, I want you to think of Brother C, and you tell the people what happened 3 years, because you know these people like to work in numbers and codes. What happened 3 years before 2023?
2019. Are you talking 2019, 2020?
Yes.
I don't know.
You know what happened, Brother C.
I don't. Go ahead. Go ahead and tell us. I don't know.
Some
I'm
people
serious.
were sniffling, other people had to wear
Oh,
masks.
oh, 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 okay. So if you say 2020, oh, COVID, my bad. You had COVID, but then you also had the declaration that time was up because the 400 years between the
Time is up.
2019 2020 period. So time was actually up during
So
that time frame.
you mean to tell me that all of a sudden the Holy See and the Pope got some kind of revelation that we just need to go ahead and make this little thing right here right? Way in 2023, they had all the way from uh 1400s and 1500s to do this, but they decided in 2023 we're gonna make this formal declaration. Come on, y'all. Come
Hmm.
on. And now we're here. So that was 3 years before this. And then another 3 years passed. And now we're here in 3 years later.
And nothing has happened. Check a
And
look at
this
this.
3 years later actually is when we received the UN's formal resolution that now became law about slavery.
So this doctrine of discovery.
Mm-hmm.
This is how Christopher Columbus was able to say that he quote discovered America.
Exactly, because the Spanish kings received the rights for the Americas.
Well, who the hell they get it from though? Did they get it from the father themselves himself?
Well, so, I mean, let's
They had a
identify.
conversation with an entity then for them to pull this off.
You know,
No, I'm
I,
not being silly.
I
I'm
know
being
you
dead
guys.
ass.
Wickedness in high places. This is what I'm talking about.
I mean, because think about it for a second. The doctrine of discovery. So when Christopher Columbus, when they say he discovered America, That's because of this bull, this edict.
Mm-hmm.
But what blows my mind is that where did they get the rights from to the Americas? Who gave them that right? They talked to it. They talked to Beelzebub or Baal or
They was
who?
looking through the looking glass. So you know what? The
No, no, don't go there.
colonizer.
Stop it. Stop it. They stuff broke now. They stuff don't even work now. They're gonna be mad that you mentioned. You gonna get us blocked.
I
You
ain't
trying
trying
to
to
get
get
us
us
blocked?
blocked.
Not that I give a damn. I don't give a damn
You
about
know
that.
what? That's why it broke. It cracked them in the eye.
Yeah.
Cracked them in the eye.
Well,
But if you think about it, I mean, this is why a lot of the history that people learn in books and in school doesn't really go back further than a certain date. Yeah,
Mhm.
divine decree. Of course, they said it by divine decree. They're gonna say everything, but they might be talking about from Hasatan. Who was they
Yeah,
talking to?
well, see, that's what I'm saying, and this is what we I appreciate that, doctor, for saying that. They say it was by a divine decree. Divine decree from who though?
What
Because
kind of
he
entity?
got it from somebody. Some entity said, and I'm freestyling here, folks. Please forgive me, but to me, this sounds like, hey, some entity said, okay, it's okay for y'all to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and do it. Just like the entities is telling these Israelis to go ahead and keep bombing people because their Messiah gonna come down and then they gonna get all their land back anyway. This is according to them. You see, the United States politics, the white nationalists, the quote Christians, and the Israelis, not the Israelites, the Israelis are waiting for Messiah. And they got entities telling them, hey, it's okay for you to go do that. But these entities is lying to them. There is not going to be no Messiah that comes back and say these 2 and 9 and 3 and 9. You're not going to get saved by nobody coming out the sky magically performing some magic act.
Now, I need to say this because maybe some people know this and they don't. If we rewind a little bit, and I'm talking about further than 1400s, the Watchers, one of them named Penamwai, and I don't know if that's the name that's the right way you pronounce it. And I'm not going to look it up to try to figure it out either. Okay. If you look at the book of Enoch in chapter 69, he is listed as the fourth watcher. And he instructed people in the arts of writing paper and ink and how to confess their faith and to confirm their agreements. Now, was that a righteous act?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's how they got their approval. They got their approval from what they call divine. They got their approval from one of these entities that's running around to this day. That's who
Mm-hmm.
they got their approval from.
So if
It
y'all
makes
want to,
sense though. It
yeah.
makes sense though, because if you're saying that, hey, I got approval, like for instance, if I went and talked to Dr. Christopher, if he gave me approval to do a teaching on something, okay, he gave me that approval to do it. I see him esteemed. He's higher than I am. So he gonna
Right.
say, "Hey, brother, say I want you to do a teaching on this." And I'm saying, "Okay, Doctor Christopher, since you're above me and I respect you in that manner, I'm going to do it." So at the time, who was higher than the Spanish kings? Who was higher
Mm.
than them? They talking to entities. This is the part that we miss here. They
That's why
dealing
they
with
don't teach this
entities.
history. That's why people won't go further back. It's almost like they don't want to go even to, they only want to start at 1619, you know. And when you try to push back and say, well, what was happening in the 1200s?
Oh, don't look there. That's enough. You're going too far back now.
The kids might get in trouble in school asking that question.
Oh boy.
Look, if they raise their hand and say, excuse me, teacher, what happened in 1352?
Man, you better not have them ask that because they're gonna say, well, what they're gonna say wasn't no writing back then. So we don't know what happened. That man, teacher, well, I'm not gonna badmouth teachers
Well,
because
then
some
we talk
teachers are
about
brilliant.
Penamwa again. And what did Penamwa teach people do? It was an art form, a dark art form to learn how to write with ink and paper and to create agreements and contracts, right? So then you have these decrees, these papal bulls, and who do you think the source of information was? Because we see the impact and the effect of them. So when you're talking about let's write out how we gonna steal, kill, and destroy,
Sure.
who helped the people, who helped them with this knowledge.
Hmm. They was dealing with entities. That's how they was able to do it. And but you know who rubber stamped though the father rubber stamped them due to us being foolish, our
Right,
ancestors, peace be upon
right,
them. May the
right.
Father keeping them
For
to this moment.
idolatry,
Yes, yes.
right? We have to watch that that idolatry. And so if you want to know exactly where that is found, it's in Enoch 69, 6 through 12. Talking about the third and fourth watchers. You can, in the fifth one too, you can definitely go and look that up on your own time. I definitely want you to. Now, brother, see what we can do is end with the article you were going to show before, because I don't want to hold the people that long. We'll
Okay,
meet again next week and we can pick back up and
okay.
do more of this. Mhm.
Can I show them Article 3?
Yes, that's the
Okay,
one.
great. I want to show y'all Article 3.
No,
And,
while he's doing that, I want to say this. Here's the chain of events, right? The Vatican wrote the founding documents, right? You get that. It starts with the papal bulls giving the authority. Don't ask me. Look at this. See, giving the authority, and you got to ask the authority. Well, who gave you authority? Right? Is what Brother C and I are saying. Like, how did they even get that authority and that information to be able to pull this all off? Portugal then enslaves the people that they consider infidels, pagans, and whatever else. Okay. And yeah, they're not going to talk about the 1300s. That's why. Okay. And then you talk about the Ashanti Kingdom capturing those so called pagans, infidels, and enemies of Christ people from neighboring interior communities. Now, who told them they could go over to the other communities anyway? And then sold them to the Portuguese, the Dutch, the British, and the French. And the Vatican authorized the demand. Now we got the people that authorized the demand and the people that went and did the capture and the selling, hugging and apologizing. That sounds like circular reasoning to me. The
uh,
Hegelian dialect.
but think about this, sis, and Dr. Christopher. I hope I'm thinking what you're thinking here. But back then, they was dealing with the same entities that they dealing with now, because you had the same two groups of people dealing at that time. The Pope and them was dealing with them wicked entities, and Ghana was dealing with them entities too, so that they could conspire. The same two groups of people is dealing right now, and they dealing with them entities too. Ghana is dealing with them same entities that they was dealing back in slavery time. The only
Right.
difference is not to enslave you, but it's to take what's rightfully yours.
But the Vatican, here's the difference between Ghana and the Vatican. The Vatican issued a formal encyclical, meaning they issued their formal apology, naming specific documents and apologizing for their role. Now, that doesn't, for us, it's like, okay, your apology, you can take that somewhere, because what does that do for us? But Ghana issued a press release, okay, calling the apology moral courage. Where is Ghana's decrees and naming specific documents and formal apologies about the Ashanti kingdoms and specific roles that they held and how much money they made and the impact that it has had on the descendants of U.S. chattel slavery? Is that what they're
Nobody
talking
calling them
about?
on
They're
it.
going to go
Nobody,
to.
no, none of our so-called leaders has called them on it. And so you know who need to be calling them on it?
We do.
The Israelites. The Israelites that know the truth. That's why, family, it's important. Don't worry about Salt of the Earth Productions. We're gonna be good. You don't have to point them to the video, point them to the information, point them to the website, point them to Wise Society, Sister Christina, point them to her. You can remove Salt of the Earth out of it because it's an Israelite thing,
No,
right?
but they gonna find me on Salt of the Earth.
Get to you. Well, yeah, because this is all here. But listen. Yeah, it's like I'm doing Hegelian dialectic now.
I
In
have a
practice.
page. I have a page, The Bold Authority. You can find me on YouTube at The Bold Authority, but it's better if you go to theboldauthority.com.
but
And then, you know, Mm-hmm.
This right here, I apologize, but this right here, two things. This right here, what the doctor's saying. This right here is profound because anytime you hear the term reparations, that's like a dog whistle for black people. We pick our ears up and we go run to that media and ingest it. But we have to think strategically. Why are they doing all of this now? Is the
Yes.
coronavirus broken?
Yeah. Well, the chronovisor and the looking glass. And Cesar Borgia never came back from the methadone clinic. So it's
Man,
a whole bunch of stuff. And so this is the contradiction, though. This is the contradiction that should not be allowed to pass without naming what is the truth. You can't praise someone else's accountability for their role in the system while remaining silent about your own role in that same system. So, moral courage, you call it that, but it ain't selective. Either the full record is examined and we have our day in court, including the parties who supplied the trade, controlled the castles, received compensation, or the apology is incomplete. And it's definitely not enough. Ghana knows what complete accountability looks like if they can praise somebody else for it. Now it's time to ask Ghana, are they prepared to demonstrate the same thing? And we're not talking about, oh, well, if you come over here and help us, build up the nation, we'll definitely welcome you, welcome home. And then you go over there and get treated like trash. We're not talking about that.
right.
We're talking about legal remedies. What did you codify? How have you rectified, rescinded, or abrogated the record? Okay. How have you done that? How have you amended it? Whatever you want to call it. And then what did you do about the harm, injury, and damage that codified thing that you put into place, that law did? Because, as far as I see, we have not been remedied under law for the harm, injury, and damages.
At all.
So it's time for you guys to um, speak up and declare the truth. And like my brother said, go to theboldauthority.com. There's a template you can use to submit to the UN. And if you get that returning email that says, the mailbox is full and cannot accept any more messages, keep trying. Like the person that mentioned before, the second to the last comment, where there is a list of records that the Catholic Church holds, the doctrine of discovery being one of them, Dom Diversas being another. You can go and look at that history and take your time with that, but don't take too long to fill out the submission, right? All right, but see, go and talk about the link here. Oh, this is what the Pope meant by dealing with artificial intelligence, huh?
Okay, so the sister sent me links today, and the link from ABC. Look at who this is, ABC News. And if you look at the title here, what it says: International Wire Story, Pope Leo XIV makes historic apology on the Holy See, and that's the number. They've taken this off of ABC News.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer there. Now I don't know if I can
Oops.
search it, but it says
They
"Oops,
said
page
oops like
unavailable."
it was a mistake or something.
Yeah, yeah. You can't get to this now. We haven't tried to see if we can find it elsewhere on the site, but basically they're taking it out. But we've noticed this, and we can go into this next week if you want. We've noticed this about a few of the links that we had queued up
Yes.
for today's show. And guess what? It's American links. So America is like, well, we don't. ABC, you had no right. I can see this coming from Trump or from one of these Stephen Miller, one of these types. Hey, look what ABC put up, and then they had them take it down. Government had them
Right.
take it down.
Right. Except for, remember, this is why I bring this up. And I'm glad you showed this, because now I want the people to see that National Catholic Reporter is located where? Well, I told you how to find it. You go down to the bottom of the webpage. You see their address. No, it's located in Kansas, Missouri. Remember, brother, see this, it doesn't this just make you laugh? The show me state. right?
Yeah. Because we all, instead of Israelite, we all Missourians.
Right.
That's what the Israel's was all from Missouri. You show me something.
So
Show me what's up.
so in the show me state, they're able to post all of this information from the National Catholic Reporter. And I know some people in the audience might say, well, don't we have freedom of speech and forget that that sentence talk about freedom of speech and religion. Okay. Freedom of speech and religion. And so they're saying we have freedom of speech and religion and they're able to post this, why ABC take it down?
And there wasn't the only one too. We'll catch the other one
Several
next
links.
week. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where they did this. United States and this guy and Iran has made the distinction. Y'all pay attention to Iran because Iran is doing the Father's work this hour. Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
is. Iran is
Yeah.
doing the Father's work. As you listen to the Iranians talk, they're more noble, more intelligent. The Americans, the American government is like a bunch of cavemen,
Yep.
just like they father probably looked like a caveman too.
Mm. Is that the
Okay.
problem with the sun? Oh, you know what? We're gonna talk about that.
Listen, we could go into the, I don't know. I want to just briefly say this one. If y'all don't get mad at the Chinese when they make the effigies on black babies where they destroy them, run them over, blow them up, fill them up with water, and do all these wicked things. No, that's a testimony and testament to them. And I'll say this: whatever they do to them effigies, may it happen to them. Say
Yeah.
la.
Yeah, because that's a testimony and testament against them, a judgment,
Yes.
right? And in this day and in this era, we are declaring judgment, vindication, and recompense. Okay.
Yes.
So people need to, watch. I know you guys have heard it over and over again, sounding like a political soundbite or some lofty sounding statement. Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. But we
Hmm.
serious about it over here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. I always say this: you better leave. You better leave certain Israelites alone because some of us is not playing. We rocking out with the Father, and if we say something is gonna happen, something gonna happen to you.
For sure.
Something is going to happen to you fooling with these people. There's
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in the book y'all could go see it. Y'all go get it out the book. Where he said in the book, leave them alone.
Right?
Don't mess with them.
Because every single tongue that rises against you, he himself will refute.
That's book. Leave them
And some
Israelites
people
alone.
might be saying it because it look good on a t-shirt, but we mean it over here. All
Listen,
right.
whoever got them effigy jaws in China, y'all better go get your money back. If you bought it on Amazon, I don't care if you bought it on Temu, wherever you bought it, you better get your money back. Stop playing with these people, because you call a doll, I think they called it not Natasha, but some African, some black name that we name our babies. And so that's directed at us. It's not directed at Africans. You see how the whole world is all of a sudden going crazy because y'all said y'all gonna delineate. The whole earth
Oh,
don't went nuts. Went
because
batshit
it
crazy.
doesn't just show who we are; it shows who they are not.
Exactly. Shows exactly who we are. So fam, we getting ready to close out.
Yeah, can I
We go
close with this one verse, please? Or
absolutely
do
for
you know
sure.
what?
You got documents you want me to throw up?
No, 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 no. So I'm just going to close with Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verses 12 through 14. Do not court death by the error of your life, or bring on destruction by the works of your hands. Because the Most High did not make death, and he does not delight in the destruction of the living, for he created all things so that they may exist. And the generative forces of the world are wholesome. And there is no destructive poison in them, and the dominion of Hades is not on earth. So I want you to think about how death and destruction rock out together. A lot of times when you see in the Proverbs, you'll see wisdom and prudence, knowledge and understanding, right? And we have to think about wherever there's death, there's destruction soon to follow. The triangulation has been steal, kill, destroy, repeat. They recycle that and recycle it and recycle it. Steal, kill, destroy, and repeat. And the behavior, the fruit, tells you who their master is. whose voice they hear and who they're listening to. And so it's time to go from beyond excitement into action. And with that, bless you all. We'll see you again next week.
Peace and blessings. You will know them by their fruit. Peace and blessings, fam. And this has been another Salt of the Earth production.